like it was going to be the most exciting one since what was that 2015 where they beat it was like what was it score like 1914 or something stupid. Like that was a good one. Obviously the 09 game where it was 12-10 back when Alabama played and everybody played defense. It just has been a very lopsided series, and Alabama gets them again at home. But I think what we're starting to see is where Josh Heupel wants to take this team. Now, how far can he take them? I don't know. I think they're going to if you're a middle of the pack SEC team, if you're and most of the SEC East, except for Georgia, if you have a bad defense, you're going to get lit up. And we saw them do that against South Carolina. We saw them do that against Missouri. We saw them do it Ole Miss for a little bit, but they're going to light you up. But against the better teams, the teams that can get a few stops and run the ball, they're going to struggle with. And we're going to see how that plays out over time as his recruiting classes start coming in. But, of course, here we are to talk about Alabama beating Tennessee 52-24. Again, man, Bryce Young looks like the real deal. Yeah, exactly. Agreed. I can't really see my mouth right now. Holy cow! Let me change my camera. Yeah, they lost a lot to the transfer portal, and coming into the year, he looked at their schedule, and they weren't going to be. No one thought they'd be Florida, Georgia, Alabama. Kentucky was always going to be a tough one. Most people thought Missouri was going to be a tough one. That turned out not to be true. Pitt was going to be tough, but most people had them 5-7, 6-6, and that looks like about where they're going to finish. What are they? They're 4-4 now. They still got to face They still got to face Vanderbilt, and they still get Southern Alabama. So they're going to get to a bowl game. They're going to win 6 games, and they're going to have chances. They're going to go to Kentucky, a team they've had some success against. Even when Kentucky's good, I'm thinking of 2018 when they beat Kentucky. Kentucky was like number 12 in the country, I think, maybe higher. And then they play Georgia at home, and there's an opportunity there. I'm going to that game, actually. I'm really excited. After tonight, I'm really, really excited. Because I don't think Georgia's offense is as explosive as Alabama's is. So I think that game could be interesting. Yeah, I think it could be a very interesting team. And when he gets more players and scholarship and more talent, I think they could be a pretty good team. I don't know if he's the guy to bring Tennessee, quote unquote, back, but I think he's the guy to stabilize that program and stop the craziness, which is kind of what needs to happen. There's always got to be a guy before the guy. And I think he might be the guy that just stops the craziness, inserts a culture, and we'll see what happens. He was a good offensive coordinator at Mizzou for the most part. He did a fine job at UCF. It was crazy, too, because most people thought when Heupel got hired, let me change the color of that. We want to make it red. When Heupel got hired, it was crazy, too, because people were like, man, oh, man, UCF just lost their coach, and they probably got a better coach with Heupel going to Tennessee. And did Tennessee downgrade from Heupel to Pruitt? And obviously not so far. First year looks very rewarding. But Alabama does, Alabama's a team that Tennessee can't quite beat yet. We'll see. I don't know what recruiting looks like. Let me pull that up. Because you're not going to beat Alabama unless you really recruit. So we want to go to 247. 2022. Tennessee is 31st, so not doing too hot. Who's ahead of them in the SEC? Mississippi State, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Arkansas, Kentucky, Florida, Missouri, all the way up there at 14th, thanks to Luther Burden. And then, of course, Alabama and Georgia. So Heupel's going to need to get on the recruiting trail. But that's, a big part of tonight is how well I think they played for large stretches of this game offensively. Just keep them in it for quite a while. But they just, they didn't have enough. And they don't have enough to beat any of the elite teams in college football. I mean, I think they give Georgia a scare, but I don't think they'll beat Georgia, even though I'll be there and I'll be singing Rocky Top because I don't want to get killed or have things thrown at me, right, Tennessee fans? Man, that was just wild.